Poisonrana.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. PostWrestling.com, Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever podcast app you use. And of course,
YouTube.com/postwrestling. Hello, postmarks.
hello.
How you doing?
The BDE has taken over. The Poisonrana has leaped my frog.
In your veins.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hello. It's Tuesday night, so Braden and Davie are here to talk about NXT because who else would do that for you other than your NXT friends? Friends. And we'll always be your NXT friends. We're on
It's 2023 now.
the first ever episode of
First
2023.
NXT of 2023.
Wow.
Yeah.
We made it.
Exciting stuff.
What a year it was.
Absolutely.
2022.
Yeah.
There was ups, there was downs, there was...
Say it ended on a high for NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely ended in a better place than it was at the beginning, I'd say.
Valid.
Yeah. In
Valid.
2023, it's still going to go up.
2023 is going to be lit.
It is. It is.
We did a best and worst of show for 2022 with John Away on this very feed. Check it out if you haven't already, talking about some of the best wrestlers, matches, moments, and some of the worst in those categories as well. So a whole lot of fun with John Away. We did it live in the post office. It was a...
First time in person in, 3
while.
years? Something like that.
like recording in person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
At the post office.
Yeah, pretty cool. So go check that show out, and that was a whole lot of fun.
Haven't actually, we haven't had as much hate this year. So, I don't know.
Not yet. It just released
normally we
yesterday.
do these best and worst, and like I wake up and I'm like, why are people being so mean to me today? Whereas so far so good.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Please like us.
Yeah.
Please. It's because we've grown fond in their hearts. Like
Maybe.
It's like NXT 2.0. At first, you really don't like these people who you don't know.
And then you're like, we're still here. I'm sorry.
And
And
we're
it's like,
still here, so
okay,
you just
yeah,
give them
you're
a break,
okay.
and then you start to like them, like
Yeah.
us in NXT. So it's
I
fun.
had a friend like that at school.
Yeah. Lots of people.
One of those
like that
guys,
in
people are
life.
like, why are you friends with him? And you're like, not sure. He just known him forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I lived with him.
Are you talking about me? Yeah, we're gonna dive into the first episode of NXT of 2023. We should let people know. We'll get some plugs out of the way. That Poisonrana over on our feed. We have some good shows out already on that free feed. Is our look back at 2022 in a whole span of the whole year, front and back.
Yeah, we went through all the big news items of the year in kind of chronological order, which is just nuts to go back and look at the year that way. You saw how much happened, and I'm sure there was stuff we missed out as well. I saw there was quite a good Twitter thread going on recently, kind of listing just all the mayhem in 2022.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that show, and I think definitely one I'd like to do kind of at the end of this year. But we're getting
Absolutely.
ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, well, go check that show out. And if you want to hear this week's episode of Poisonrana, well, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be going live on our feed, and we will be joined by Karen Peterson to chat all about Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, yes. Happening. It's just a mere few hours away now.
Yeah, so hey, follow all our socials for updates and stuff, but this weekend, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, the audio will be up afterwards on our Poisonrana feed, so go check that out. Later this month, we got a new What Up Doe, and we got a new Detox. It's going to be packed full of all these free shows, and hey, since we're having Karen Peterson on, I say later this month, I'll drop Best match ever, Io Shirai with Karen for free on the Poisonrana.
Because after all, it is Japanuary. And if that's not enough for you, if all that's not enough and you want to throw a few bucks our way to support us in what we do, over at the Patreon, we're continuing Japanuary, and new month means new schedule. So got a whole load of stuff coming up this month, including a review of Battle Royale, one of our world champions. Sorry, excuse my tongue. One of our family patrons picked Battle Royale to kind of fit in with this Japanese theme month. We're going to be doing Best Match Ever, The Great Muta.
Yeah.
We're looking at WWF's crossover with All Japan Pro Wrestling and New Japan Wrestling Summit for a review from the 6th, as well as our usual kind of Was Next stuff where we're looking back at we're so close to the end of 2013 NXT as well.
Well, you get all those shows this month, but also 2 big shows this week. Best Match Ever 2022, Part 1 and Part 2. We basically, in Best Match Ever, dissect all these matches. We made a list, top 10. We got our listeners to make a list. We put it together and created a top 10 list of the best matches, and then we run through them, review, rate, and then discuss what is the best match of 2022.
So give it a listen and tell us we're wrong. Tell us, no, that's not the right list. Yeah.
So
agree with us.
Get yourself a New Year's gift that keeps on giving, and it's only $5 to become a friend over at our patreon.com/Poisonrana to get all these podcasts plus everything in that back catalog. So go check us out. It's only $5.
Yeah.
We are content creators.
We are.
And we're too old to learn TikTok properly. But
we're trying. We're getting there.
Damn it,
we're getting
we're
there.
trying.
Yeah.
So yeah, go follow all the socials. And thanks to all old listeners, new listeners, and here's to 2023. We're recording this right after NXT airs today on January 3rd, but later tonight, because we're Eastern time zone here in Toronto, Wrestle Kingdom 17 is happening. Some people are going to try to stay up all night to try to watch this, and then most likely everyone will fall asleep before the matches they wanted to stay up and watch.
Yeah, so I think I'm doing it the other way around. You're gonna go to sleep, okay, and then when I wake up is when you
want me to wake you up?
No, I might send you a message and be like, I don't want to like wake up, put it on, and it's I see just Jay White posing with the title after winning.
Don't worry, you won't see that.
No, I think he should beat Okada. And yeah, so I want to kind of maybe get up for the last few matches, but
okay, I can wait.
I can't. I need to go to sleep at some point.
I'm deciding if I take a nap. Look, I think this is a good. By the time you're listening to this is already dated. But I think this is a good jumping back on platform for New Japan for anyone who maybe wasn't a fan before or was and kind of lost. Clap crowds really took a toll out of me. So sorry, we're kicking things off in the Tokyo Dome with a live crowd, hot energy, and Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. It's going to be one of the biggest matches. It's basically custody of Dave Meltzer on the line between these two guys.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to see these two of the best. So yeah, we're going to talk all about this in detail after we watch it later this weekend on our feed.
I'm gonna super date us, but let's do some quick predictions.
Oh, okay.
Firstly, the main event. Ryohei Oiwa versus Oleg Boltin. Who's winning that one?
The first person.
Yeah. The Rambo. Who's winning the Rambo this year?
Cheeseburger in it?
Probably.
All right, cheeseburger.
Yeah, I go along with that. Yeah, let's go to the real things here. Kairi versus Tam Nakano. Kairi, I think so too. With a possible Sasha match just around the corner.
We seeing Naomi, Trinity, Monet Banks. Who we seeing?
Ooh. FTR versus Goto and Yoshihashi.
I think FTR retains.
Do you?
Yeah.
You don't think they're just going to keep dropping all these titles? I think they should, but I kind of feel this story's going that
I want Aussie Open to take it from him.
I agree, but I don't know.
Yeah.
When you do that, I'm going to say Goto and Hashi. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ren Narita.
I think Ren will bring it, but Zack Sabre Jr. with the Slim Shady haircut. If you
this is for this new like television championship thing they're doing,
no.
so I could see them going with Ren Narita, someone new to maybe elevate. Start that. Carl Anderson versus Tama Tonga.
Carl Anderson, the machine gun all day. every day. We just saw him wrestle last Friday night in Toronto at the house show for WWE, and here he is in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, who's going to take that off of him? And they had to protect him. He got a big win over the Judgment Day.
Yeah, he won that match.
He won that match.
He was Naitoing it up.
He's like, yo, He's like, I'm
Yeah.
defending my title. I can't lose to Priest. Keiji Muto, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Shota Umino versus LIJ, Naito, Sanada, and Bushi.
Naito.
Yeah. So Muto loses. This
Sure.
is like his last Wrestle
Oh,
Kingdom,
right, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Ishimori versus El Desperado versus Hiromu versus Master Wato.
Desperado.
Master Wato.
Master Wato. Get out of here.
Yeah. Ospreay versus Omega.
This one, like, you would figure Kenny goes over just because but really it doesn't. I don't know. It's not as clear cut. So either way,
why would Kenny go over?
I just feel because he's like the special like attraction coming in here. So, but at the same time, I don't see it that way either. I see it. Either way.
I can't see them. I don't know. I can't see them putting the title on Omega because this is for the US title. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think Ospreay, just politics wise.
Omega wins it, throws it in the bin, challenges Okada at Dominion for the.
I think you could have Kenny lose this one and then Ospreay Kenny 2 at Forbidden Door 2 perhaps or whatever this year.
Either way,
I'm gonna go Ospreay.
We're all winning this match for sure. Love their promos leading into it.
Jay White versus Okada.
Yeah. The hype for this match isn't as good as it probably could be, but I'd say Okada wins it.
I'm sure it's going to be a terrific match.
Me too.
I can't say I'm interested in it, really. I've seen it before.
A bunch, live.
We were there.
Yeah.
Fuck it, Jay White. We just go and reset Okada every time.
Our one buddy Big Tom's coming over later to try to stay up and watch the match, and he has an IWGP replica title. He said he's bringing it over, and he hasn't changed his nameplate on it, but he purposely got a Jay White one for today to make sure that Jay White retains. And you both are sick sons of, like, how could you support this man over the Rainmaker? That story is just nobody cares because they're overshadowed by what the real main event is.
I don't even know, like, yeah, they're overshadowed, but I feel if Ospreay and Omega wasn't happening, there's no interest in this match.
Fair
really.
Enough, yeah.
I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, there's our predictions. Maybe we'll be Nostradamuses or not on this, but follow us on our Poisonrana feed for all the updates and stuff. But who's staying up? I got some sake. Since I can't get Strong Zero, I got sake for later tonight. I'm probably gonna pass out during the Master Wato match.
You're gonna be drinking during the show?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I'll definitely go to sleep if I did that.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well. Any other bits and bobs?
Yeah, bits and bobs is I love Dominic going to jail.
Oh yeah.
In the clink and coming out now a new man.
Yeah.
And he's got a toothpick, a teardrop tattoo.
This is the year of Dominic Mysterio.
Dominic Mysterio should probably be the one to take the titles off of Roman now.
For sure. Yeah.
Right? Like,
do what his dad couldn't do.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I love this.
I'm enjoying it a lot, and
it's ridiculous.
It's got to be Mania, Ray and Dominic, right?
It has to be.
And I think they're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
It's Dominic's coming out of his shell, and
he's breaking out of his shell.
Do you reckon this is his gear now as well? The
prison?
Like, tank top?
Oh, tank top, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Do you think he saw nails in there?
Yeah, nails. Do you think Dominic was the kind of guy who, while in prison, was holding people's pockets?
Or were people holding his pockets?
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know about that one.
He hasn't been there long enough to really establish.
Well, the promo made it sound like he was there for a long time when it was like... Oh,
maybe that's how, like...
It was like City
how
holding
dominant
jail.
he is. He, like, came in and they're like, fuck, it's Dominic Mysterio.
He looks so scummy with this, like... He should get more face tattoos.
Yeah.
I think it's great. It might make me watch more Raw.
Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
Well, once you got Cody back as well, that is going to be
Huge
the new
feud.
hot show, right?
Oh, I thought
Dom and Cody, that one too.
The feud would be great.
Oh, the feud would be wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Raw's killing it. I also checked out SmackDown, the John Cena stuff, but he didn't really do much in that.
He
match.
didn't do a whole lot, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. His hair's weird, isn't
He
it?
should just shave it. Why doesn't he just shave it off again?
That's what everyone's taken out of that match, was the loud calling for the match, and just, John Cena's hair's weird.
Big hole in his head.
What's happened?
Like, he had no hair, and then he had hair again, and then now he's kind of has hair, and there's not a lot. Because
didn't he have Randy's guy, or did Randy take?
Randy had his guy.
Randy had his guy.
Yeah, I should get
Randy's looks better. Yeah.
Shout out John Cena's hair.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, it's John Cena. Come on.
Yeah.
With or without hair, he looks good. It's not like Shawn Michaels, where all of a sudden it's like, boom, where's your hair? What's going on?
Shawn should grow his hair out. I think with but like long again. He needs to keep growing it. I think he'd look less weird as just like a balding long hair.
Just body shaming these
these
icons.
New year, new me. It's a meaner show now.
No, John Cena looked nice.
Yeah, no, I love John. He's great.
Yeah, excellent. All right, let's talk about some NXT.
Let's do it.
Sorry, people.
NXT January 3rd, 2033. Wow. That would be one.
Yeah.
2023, live from the Capitol Wrestling Center. We start off right away. Carmelo Hayes versus Apollo Crews. It's a really quick start to this match. Apollo moonsaults out of the way of Melo and follows up with a drop kick. There's then a springboard guillotine leg drop from Melo, and Apollo comes back with this delayed vertical suplex showing off his strength. Big belly-to-belly toss from Crews, and now Melo starts to attack the knee of Apollo. Applies this single-leg Boston Crab, putting more pressure on the knee. There's an enziguri from Crews, but it seems to mess up his knee even more. And Crews starts to fight back with a pump kick and a clothesline. Melo barrel rolls over Crews and goes for a kick, but Crews hits him with the backstabber, which again puts damage on that knee. There's a big superplex from Crews for a 2, followed by a cutter from Melo, and then nothing but net gets missed by Melo, allowing Apollo to hit this second rope blockbuster for a 2 count. Trick then starts to distract Crews and the referee. Crews turns around and hits the knee lift onto Melo, followed by a German suplex. Goes for a military press slam, followed by the standing moonsault, but Melo gets out the way, putting more damage to that knee, allowing Melo to follow up with the code breaker and nothing but net to pick up the win.
Yeah, pretty like fast-paced back and forth match, which I was like excited to see, but because I love both of these guys in the ring, and the styles meshed really well. You had Crews throwing Melo around here with these like suplexes and stuff. Very impressive belly to bellies and stuff. There was one spot, it was like Crews was hitting like, you know, buff the stuff, blockbuster off the top, but Melo sold it like he hit like almost like a destroyer DDT Essex.
Yeah, Vic was like, was that a DDT or a blockbuster?
Yeah,
it was like in between,
crazy.
Looked really nice.
Yeah, pretty good back and forth between these two, and like you kind of figured Melo wins this, therefore kind of projects himself maybe into the title picture
for Vengeance Day.
Yeah, we would imagine so, and Crews kind of being kind of like the base here for Melo to get that win, but pretty fun opening match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. These two styles meshed together really nicely. Good. I'm pleased Melo won. I think that's the right direction. But what do you see as next for Crews?
He could go into the North American title picture.
That's what I'm wondering.
You could have, since it's the first show back on the road and stuff, you could have that crazy multi-ladder match thing that they always do. Yeah, he could be part of that. Him versus Dijak would be pretty cool.
That's what I think could be good. Either with the title, if Dijak ends up beating Wes down the line, although I feel his reign has just kind of started. So, like, yeah, I think Dijak Apollo would be a good direction.
Sure.
Though just weird too, like main roster guys essentially feuding with each other.
All these main roster people coming down. This match had Trick like getting involved, which then pissed off Hayes, and then it kind of which pissed off Crews, but then it like trickles and turns into the next segment like right away.
Yeah, so Axiom was scheduled to face Trick Williams tonight. So after match, Axiom just runs down, takes out Trick, hits this beautiful moonsault to the floor, taking out both Trick and Melo. And we go kind of right into the match. There's a pop-up uppercut from Trick Williams, Williams goes for a chop, but Axiom ducks it and delivers a nasty sounding chop to Trick. Williams then comes back with a leaping clothesline. Axiom fights back with this pop-up drop kick, goes up top and hits the high cross for the 2 count, and then as Trick kicks out, he transitions right into the armbar, which looked really smooth. There's then Williams hits this like running, twisting neck breaker, which looked pretty sweet actually. And then our feed kind of cut out. We came back to Axiom posing, but I think he hit his like running kick.
Yeah,
thing,
his running finish kick. Calf kick. That's not too much of an impressive finish, but yeah.
But I thought this might have been the best we've seen Trick Williams. I thought he'd really stepped up here.
Yeah, he's definitely improved when it comes to in-ring stuff. I think the character work with him and Melo has 100% been hitting from time now, so that's been fine. But having his own matches here, he definitely held his own. You knew Axiom was going to make light work of him here, but he's just the lackey, and that's how he's supposed to be. But I thought he held his own. That neckbreaker looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of want to start seeing more of him in ring because I think he's definitely shown improvement from the start, and the act of him and Trick is really good as well. Yeah. So
Axiom whooping that Trick.
After the match, Trick and Melo attack Axiom, and Apollo Crews runs right back out for the save.
Nice. So maybe we see this as a tag team match.
Crews and yeah, sure.
If we get Crews versus Axiom, that could be pretty cool too.
That would be good. Yeah.
Maybe
Axiom against most people at the moment.
Yeah, Axiom's good. Again, I think the wrestling there he's something special on this show for sure.
We go backstage where Pretty Deadly approach the New Day in the locker room, and they say, "Look, we're trying to get everything on this list." And they go, "Well, have you got the Boss Man's nightstick?" So, yeah, we've got the Boss Man's nightstick. What about the Rock's eyebrow? So just collecting all these like hidden treasures.
Sorry, are they supposed to find Dwayne Johnson and shave off the eyebrow?
I think
How
so.
would you even keep it in like would you have to rip off the skin to keep it a full eyebrow?
You just wax it off. Does it count on wax paper?
True, right. That would be a good way. Or like get one of those old WWF Halloween masks, The Rock's face, and just take the eyebrow off.
It would have been funnier if later in the evening we just saw Ava Raine with one eyebrow.
Does this count? Check the DNA.
It's like really subtle. Actually, maybe we have to go back and watch. This is when Schism walk in, and Rip Jagger says, "Is it Rip Jagger? No, it's Jagger Reed. Rip Fowler.
Rip Fowler?
Oh, Jesus.
That's not their names.
Rip Fowler, the former Zach Gibson, says, "You've talked to everyone in this tag division except for us, and it's because you know we're the biggest threat to those championships." And Wood says, "No, it's because you look like extra family members from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you kind of creep us out." Gacy just says, "We're a family just like the New Day's a family," and just like Woods and Big E leaned on Kofi to get somewhere, we are 4 roots and 1 tree. And Kofi says he thought he had a problem with Rip and Jagger, but it seems like he actually has a problem with Gacy. Challenges him to a match, and Gacy's like, "Yeah, former WWE champion, absolutely, let's go." So Kofi, Kingston versus Joe Gacy set for tonight.
Did Kofi say something about having, like, you know how they say 4 trees, 4 roots? He's like something, 5 cheeks. And I'm trying to do the math, and I'm not sure how he got, like, because he's going to clap all their cheeks is what he means?
5 cheeks?
Because then, like, that means there's one extra cheek.
That's just 2.5 cheeks. So, that's like, 2.5 thumbs, isn't it?
Cheek there. Yeah, he's going to clap 5 cheeks.
Clap 5 cheeks.
I don't know.
Let us know at Poison Rana Pod.
You ever clap 5 cheeks?
No.
2023 is going to be your year.
Yeah. It's okay. I had a nice meal yesterday. It's early Wednesday morning, and Stax is handcuffed to a chair.
Holy shit, man! This went from 0 to 100 on NXT real quick here, because It just comes back, and there's a man like with bruises on his face.
This is Wednesday last week.
So it's saying this footage is from last week, and Stax is tied up by chains, and he's beaten and bruised. Looks like he's just been stuck here for a long time. It's like
Daniel Craig's Bond in Casino Royale.
Yeah,
strapped to the
I was
chair.
getting Taken vibes here as well. And Dijak, Hard Justice here, has him tied up, and this
Swerve Strickland's behind him with a pair of. He's gonna take his fingers off.
I've mentioned on podcast before, I'm too scared to watch the movie Hostel, but this is how I imagine it is, because this looks terrifying.
Should we do it next month?
Just randomly?
Yeah.
No. I've watched it here. It's Dijak.
Hostel's great.
Chaining up this little Italian man for no reason.
Yeah.
This guy just like, it got scary. I feel like it was him. Oh, sorry. Why does he have a tape recorder?
Yeah, I've got.
Wait a second.
So Dijak pulls out a cassette tape, like an old cassette tape, puts it in a tape recorder.
Yeah.
And he's recording the I think. Oh, okay. I think he's like recording like a ransom message for Tony, is what I assume.
Sorry, so he's expecting Tony's gonna have a tape player to play this. Like, what is this?
Dijak thinks it's 1998.
I mean, by the way he dresses, he thinks it's 1988. But yeah,
when's Terminator 2? It's around that time.
1992.
Yeah. Yeah. Why the fuck has he got a tape recorder?
He's hanging out with scripts, leaving voicemails. What the? Yeah. Okay. So like in movies, they'll record something, but it'll be video. In the past, like 20 years.
If he was doing like if someone else is already recording it on video.
There's
Dijak. This is completely pointless.
This was
you've already got a cameraman there.
This was a waste of time for Dijak for sure. He's aggressively beating this poor kid up, keeping him chained up in some dungeon somewhere, and then he's voice recorded. Who is this guy? What's the president who recorded everything? Ronald Reagan. One of these presidents just always recorded everything.
Okay.
Maybe that's what Dijak's like, gets off and listens back to.
Maybe it's. I mean, we've got two mics going at the moment. We've got the one for the video, and we've got the one for the audio. And if one doesn't work, we've always got the backup. Maybe that's what it is. He's only got one cameraman, and he's like, "Oh, I do have a cassette player in the back."
It's just very weird that he's just decided that he's going to use a tape recorder. He clearly had to go get this at a Radio Shack, and I don't even know if Radio Shack is still a thing.
I used to love my tape recorder.
Yeah, this is like a Talk Boy from Home Alone 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Also, this is just weird. Like, Dijak's acting all creepy and, like, aggressive.
Yeah, so Dijak's going to murder Stax.
Yeah.
And Stax just says, look, I just do whatever the Don needs me to do. And Dijak say, oh, is that so? Well, loyalty has consequences. And disrespecting me, like when you walked into my locker room the other week, disrespecting me will not go unpunished. And your boss calls yourself the Don, but you are looking at the face of fear in NXT. I'm sure Bray was the face of fear. There's lots of feared faces. He then punches Stax in the stomach. Stax asks to be uncuffed, and he says, hey, let's settle this how we should do it, in the ring. Uncuff me, settle it in the ring. Dijak says this is just the beginning, and he leaves the key in front of him. I was getting like Saw vibes here, where it's the key's in front of him. He's gonna have to like bend down and cut off his foot to get this off.
If it was Saw, then like Tony D'Angelo would walk in the room and like shut the recorder off and stare at him. Like, like some swerve there. But this still doesn't make any sense. So he left the key there for him to struggle and eventually get out. And then
meet him at NXT this week in the ring.
Yeah, Dijak's just like, Apollo Crews comes back to main roster because he had nothing going on. They're like, okay, cool, you're a really good wrestler. Let's make your character see visions of the future. Okay, cool. Dijak, you're a wrestler who's on the main roster. You got nothing going on. How about you come back in time to NXT and become the Terminator?
I think he's come back in time too far because this gimmick is just so dated.
Yeah, fast forward the tape recorder to another time when he doesn't use this gimmick.
It's weird with this guy because I think he's fantastic in the ring. I think he's got a great look. Like the stuff he does for his size, he looks scary. He's like, I think the guy can talk, and he's shown like humor and stuff like that.
Just not in this character
before, but like, I don't see. I feel like they're overthinking this guy.
Yeah.
I feel like this guy should just, like his first presentation of just being Dijak.
Yeah.
You know, and you can be a bit of a dick or you can be a good guy or whatever, but he loves justice.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Yeah. We see Drew Gulak, who is with the Chase U students in the ring, and he's kind of giving a bit of a seminar, like a lesson here.
In his camp, yeah.
Yeah. And Andre Chase walks in and goes, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" And they go, "Oh, we just wanted some extra training, Mr. Chase," his student said. And Andre says, "Well, okay, but you shouldn't be coaching my students without running it by me first." And, well, Gulak says, "Well, I heard what Dempsey said about your students. He said they're soft." He's like, "Oh, yeah, well, what do you think?" He goes, "I've got mixed results." And this pisses off Chase, who goes for him. And Duke is like, "Hey, you watch what you say about Mr. Chase," standing up for him there. But this sets up a match for later tonight between the two teachers.
Yeah, Drew Gulak in action here tonight.
Yeah.
Excellent. I like that the schools are feuding here. Like high school drama.
When I was at school, we had my science teacher and my music teacher.
Right.
We just like spread a rumor that you're like, "Oh, did you hear what Mr. P said about you?"
Right.
And like we'd like make up some insults, and
Yeah.
the music teacher said, "Yeah, he said that." So he'd like say stuff back.
Uh-oh.
And like we tried to get them to fight each other. They played it up. I don't even know if they were like that close. Like it was a big school, but one day one of the teachers came in and he like rolled up his sleeves. Teachers fighting. That's what we get here in NXT.
Damn.
Yeah.
In my high school, teachers did other things that weren't that great.
Oh, we had them as well. Yeah, we had a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out teachers.
Shout out teachers.
Yeah.
I like the fact Gulak and them are beefing over this, and Duke standing up for Chase means he's still in the good books with Chase. It's not over yet with this.
But do you see Duke eventually being with Gulak?
Ooh, interesting. Maybe.
Like now he's got someone he can defect to, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see.
Gets a transfer to, yeah. We go to Dijak versus Stax. Stax comes out and he's all bruised. He's all beaten up from Wednesday. And, well, it's all Dijak to start with. A big backdrop from him, these clubbing blows. And then Dijak goes for a shoulder in the corner, but Stax gets out the way. And this allows Stax to follow up with these repeated running forearms in the corner. But eventually he runs right into a cyclone boot.
Oh, man, he
took his head off.
Upside down, inside out, for sure, yeah.
And then Dijak with a really nice vertical suplex slingshot off the top rope into the Feast Your Eyes position, hits Feast Your Eyes, and, well, makes quite light work of Stax here.
Yeah, he stacks. You know what? I like Stax, actually. He's been some kid who was thrown in this side mafia character on TV, but when it comes to the wrestling, he's kind of held his own with some bigger names. This is remember Nakamura and a few other people. So it's kind of definitely this is what something could create someone to become pretty good while hanging with such already big names.
I think so. They've made Tony and Stax baby faces now. That was quite clear after the next thing we're going to talk about. Well, while we're talking about Stax, I quite like what they're doing, where his whole thing is he's the underdog going out, he's going to lose, but he's earned Tony's respect by, well, you put yourself out here there. Even as silly as that scene was with Dijak, he's at death's door, tied up, and he's no, well, fight me in the ring like a man.
See, I think
much.
I think they could have skipped that dungeon kidnapping, and they could have just done him knocking on his door and being "Yo, I'll fight you." Done.
Yeah.
And then you get your ass beat. It's fine, but
so I think eventually it builds up to quite a nice moment when Stax eventually gets his win. I imagine at some point they'll do Tony and Stax,
sure.
But I do see promise in him. I think he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, Tony D'Angelo then comes out because Dijak continues to attack Stax, and Tony says, "Oh, you think you're tough, eh? Well, you don't have the heart that this guy has. And you talk about justice. Well, how about street justice? Next week, fight me at New Year's Evil." Tony D just felt full on babyface.
Yeah,
tonight.
the crowd were behind him more than Dijak for sure.
And I'm for that. I think a bit of a change with Tony D, be a bit more of a babyface, would work for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to get flattened by some hard justice.
But do you see, like, so this is set for next week, and it's essentially number one contenders match.
Shenanigans
And a three-way?
Three-way.
Yeah.
Best two
Name
words.
of my sex tape.
Yeah. Best two words in the English language. Or 3 words, whatever.
Oh, boy.
We're all on tonight. John, you're going to cut us off. Yeah, they're going to cut us away from this post feed after 3 weeks.
I don't know. I've listened to some of their other shows. We go backstage to Oro Mensa, who says, well, because of the accent, I might have misheard this, but I'm pretty sure he said, in 2022, I got my feet wet, but in 2022, I'm going to dive full in and get soaked. I think he got the year wrong.
Stop living in the past.
Yeah. So he's basically saying this year's going to be his year when Big Body Javier Bernal interrupts him, and he says, well, I'm starting the year by releasing the Big Body Christmas album. Mackenzie Mitchell's there, and it's like, Javi, isn't that a bit late? Like, Christmas was 2 weeks ago. And he said, well, it's got 15 great tracks, including Feliz Navidad, love it, and the 12 Days of Javi. And Oro Mensa says he's cringe, and he'll see him in the ring.
Yeah, this was cringe for sure, definitely.
You don't like Big Body Javi, do you?
No, unfortunately. One day he'll win me over. I'll just give in and be like, all right, I give in, you win. But so far, no.
I quite like him.
The photo, his
Feliz Navidad
that was the
is
one.
pretty funny.
That one was pretty good, but his face on the album was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oro Mensa.
Yeah, he just talked about getting his feet wet, and
I don't really
Javi's Christmas album cringe.
Yeah, calling things cringe.
Yeah, don't call.
I think he's been in the same time
Stop
machine
trying
as
to make
Dijak.
that thing fat. Yeah, stop trying to make cringe happen.
Yeah, it did happen, didn't it?
Yeah, this segment.
Yeah. Toxic Attraction come out, Gigi and JC, and Gigi says Toxic Attraction will always be the best women's faction in NXT, and we're leaving 2022 and all eyes are on us, and we're going to push the envelope even further, cut through the roster with reckless abandon. JC says, we will call all the shots, we don't do stupid resolutions, we do revenge! And while the whole world watches our every move, we only care about Roxanne Perez. And you want to take down our toxic empire, I'm going to build it brick by brick. This is when Indy Hartwell interrupts and says she's so sick of hearing about Toxic Attraction. And when Roxanne won the title, she thought it was the end of Toxic Attraction, but it wasn't. Well, she doesn't mind putting an end to it. And we need new blood at the top of the division, and that is me. And then Cora Jade appears just in the stands with the fans and says no one cares about Indy, and that's why everyone who's been with her has left her.
Oh.
And reminds that Cora has a win over Roxanne Perez, so she should face it. That's when Nikita Lyons is also in the stands. Everyone's just appearing from everywhere.
Popping up out of nowhere.
Popping up in the stands. Like, that's surely their dressing room's not right outside there. Like, you just come to the entrance.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Nikita says the only thing Cora deserves is a kick in the face. Zoe Starks comes out and says, I know I smelt bad TikTok dances and future regrets. Shouldn't you be showing your assets off on Instagram? While Roxanne's title run will be short when I will beat her. Wendy Chu comes out dressed like a mermaid. And
was that what she was dressed as?
It was a mermaid onesie.
I was thinking Mermaid Man from SpongeBob.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what
she says, I know you don't like each other, but there's no need to insult each other. You see, I don't call Cora Jade an egotistical, self-centered biatch. And Thea Hale cuts her off and says, so many girls! Girl fight! And they fight. All of these women, they're fighting everywhere. They're fighting in the ring. More of the women's division come out and they fight. Fighting around the world.
Yeah. All right, so this started off rough Yeah. Because Gigi and JC are doing the classic WWE NXT thing. We're just gonna assume you know everything.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna explain. So we're leaving 2022 in the dust behind us. Everything we've done, forget about it, because Mandy's not here. They have definitely not like evolved since being in Toxic Attraction, and it kind of shows that, because they're now instantly back to the way they were right before Mandy, and that's just two others. I wouldn't say they've won the titles and stuff, but when the women's division, you think of NXT, I wouldn't put them in the category as a lot of the other women, especially in this segment. I get the women coming out to like interject and cut their points and stuff, but how they were just like, I don't know, like popping up out of nowhere, like, ta-da, I'm here and I have something to say. And then another like Diglett from Pokemon showing up here, a Gopher here. It's like they just keep popping up.
It reminded me, and I know you haven't seen it, but in Lost, when Jack finally like meets one of the others, he's like, I think there's just one of you, and then all these torches like appear everywhere and they're surrounded. That's just the NXT women. They're just everywhere appearing.
Yeah, it was just, and then all of a sudden there's a fight. So like, okay, I get it. I think maybe a different way around it to get to the point where it's all these people fighting, but
it's just cliche, isn't it? And we get it. So Roxanne Perez then comes out on the perch and says that you don't need to fight each other tonight. She's talked, and there's going to be a 20-women battle royal next week where the winner will face her at Vengeance Day.
Yeah. This segment lacked Sol Ruka walking on her hands through all the chaos.
Just as everyone's fighting, yeah.
That would have been... my views on this segment would have been completely different if they just did that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. I mean, like, the match is a good idea, because then we'll get a contender.
And I think it kind of is the right move to go, because you can either hotshot Cora right back into that feud, have her win, or like she doesn't, with Mandy gone, Roxanne doesn't really have anyone. So a battle royal kind of makes sense. A bit of a reset.
So next week,
who do you see winning it?
Sol Ruka. I don't know. I guess someone from Toxic to try to go after Roxanne. I guess a heel, right? So Zoe Stark.
Is Cora too soon to kind of go to that again?
She needs to feud with someone else at first.
Zoe Stark still kind of feels tied up with Nikita, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone heel.
It could be... Yeah, maybe Toxic.
Yeah, Gigi. Maybe
they're the final two, and they're like, no. They Hunger Games it. They're like, we both win.
Okay.
Yeah.
This then turns into like another angle, because the two of these women just start fighting into the back area.
So they're all brawling, and Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn are continuing to fight. Well, of course, they've got their Extreme Resolutions match tonight. So they're fighting back kind of in the warehouse area of NXT, and they're just like throwing trolleys at each other and trash cans and the like. Isla, the whole time, is just talking nonsense at her. She keeps on saying, I know. She was like Nikki
Not
Cross.
Quite, yeah.
No, she was. I know. What do you know, Isla? I know.
I'm a witch.
There's the big polystyrene X that Bron Breaker broke as one of his entrances.
Didn't look broke there.
Yeah, that they fall into, and Alba Fyre slams her on the X. They're throwing trolleys at each other, swinging pipes and scaffold pieces.
Pretty early on, there's a spot where they're standing on like set cargo stuff, containers, and then it's Alba who throws Isla like off of it. And then it's like this really awful cut where you just hear ding, ding, like things falling, and then it cuts to Isla just laid out, which like that was pretty hokey. So I'm willing to move on from it, but it was like pretty funny how it cuts back and forth. I hate
whenever they do this thing.
Yeah, it looks so cheesy.
You know it's not. It's like when Bron fell off the perch.
It's like,
you cut away, he lands on padding, and then he's on the hard floor.
Yeah,
it just
so silly.
It takes you out of it, I think.
But then, not to be outdone by Fyre putting Dawn in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, she puts her in a wheelbarrow and wheels her to ringside, and they get in the ring, and the match now officially starts. Fyre's jabbing the chair in Isla's like stomach and the throat. Dawn comes back with a suplex into the corner, and keeps saying, "Give into it! Give into it!"
She's a witch.
Alba is now delivering these chops and forearms, hits the gory bomb, and Dawn kicks out. And I thought, like, the gory bomb is Alba's finisher here, and Dawn kicking out, I thought commentary made nothing of this. They're like, oh, under 2. Which just felt a little anticlimactic there.
Yeah.
Anyway, during commercial break, Isla Dawn has a spanner, a wrench, and is wrenching the fingers of Alba Fyre.
Literally.
And then after the break, Fyre hits this like tope suicida to the outside, but like no run up.
Yeah, this is cool how she just like can just jump through the ropes without getting a real running start. Very impressive.
She then pulls out a table. Isla Dawn gets out a toolbox and slams Alba's hand with it.
Like, okay, clearly her hand is not actually there, but the crowd, and at least our view at home, you can't tell that. So it does, but then that would possibly almost chop someone's fingers off if done properly. But still, very, very nice.
Fyre puts Dawn on a table and climbs up to the turnbuckle. This is the table on the floor. And Dawn is lying there smiling, looking up. And it's as if she sacrifices herself. Like, do it to me. And Alba Fyre hits her swanton, but like just grazes Dawn here. There's a noise, there's contact, and it's a kind of dull thud. But this was unfortunate.
But to be fair, commentary right away are like, oh, like didn't get all of it. As soon as she realized she misses it, she picks her up, hits another gory bomb through the table, and that's when Vic Joseph's like, oh, like it was Isla Dawn. She was the one that caused her to do this, like her laughing or her magic or some way. Like she didn't even flinch from taking that move, so she was like, I don't know, spiritually protected from it or something. I don't know, the way he worded it was like trying to save it. So good on him for doing that. But I will say the gory bomb through the table looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So
and then rolls Isla into the ring and picks up the win.
Yeah, I get how they started this, like spiraling out of the big giant girl fight, as they called it, and then starting this match backstage. I think they could have got a lot more out of just letting them do it without bad camera cuts and kind of that like silliness stuff.
Yeah, once it got to the ring, it was pretty good.
Because it started and then the crowd kind of died, and then as soon as the match started going on and they come back from a break, like the crowd then turned and realized that these two are really good, and I think Isla Dawn and Alba Fyre have good chemistry, and I like these two, and
I think there should be a third.
I think so too. Vengeance Day.
Yeah, like it's one apiece now. You can have another, maybe another kind of weapons match kind of thing.
Mountain Dew pitch black
exactly.
match.
I hate all the give into it. Like,
yeah.
Give into it. Booker was kind of like, what's she talking about? Give into what? Give into what?
She's a witch.
What do you know? Yeah, there's too much of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters like this all
Right.
the time now.
Yeah.
I feel. I can't say it particularly interests me.
Yeah, she can do the witch thing good, but if she's doing more of this stuff, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I agree. But you know what? I would say the wrestling between these two was never the issue, and it still shines through.
Waller's backstage and said he's been busy being back in Australia, manifesting being champion.
Yeah, I saw I forgot to say, shout out to you for holding the fort down last week for watching NXT, but Waller was back home in Australia just living it up after teasing Bron. I love that he continued that on social media, like, oh look, you can't do anything, I'm at Bondi Beach or whatever, and just like chilling, which great beach, by the way.
Mackenzie isn't sure why he's so confident, and he goes, well, because I made Bron mad, and that's when he's most vulnerable, when he's all Hulk smash
Bronathan.
And he says he's outsmarted him and he'll do it again on the Grayson Waller effect.
Yeah.
We see Indus Sher, and they're saying that in India they're celebrities. Veer was the first Indian baseball player, and there have been TV programs and films made about him, and in India our videos are the most watched in kind of wrestling.
This was cool seeing
but we don't
clips.
have our
like this was cool.
They finally
showing
acknowledged
that.
this stuff.
Yeah, they didn't acknowledge the John Hamm Disney movie. What the hell?
It's a good film.
Why didn't
Have you seen it?
No, we should review it.
I enjoy. I went with my dad.
watched
It's pretty good.
So for anyone, we've made this joke for years now, but they made a movie about him.
Yeah,
in Disney.
$1 million arm.
Exactly, and they didn't show that, but I love that showing the other stuff. They rarely do that.
It did make it. It made sense of this whole character.
Yeah.
I thought, because they then go on to say, like, we don't have any respect here. So basically, like, in India, we're fucking huge and we've achieved all these things and people recognize that. But once we're here, no one really cares. And says that it then cuts between them and the Creeds. And the Creeds are saying this isn't about respect. That's bullshit. They were the best tag team in 2022. Indus Sher say that they won't be, that Creeds won't be the same in 2023. And Creeds think that they chose the wrong team to pick a fight with, to be making their name off of. Sanger says that you should have listened to Ivy and stayed away from us. But they don't want any excuses. They want them at 100%. So when Indus Sher beat the Creeds, there's no excuses. And we're finally getting to this match next week.
Nice. So Creeds, Indus Sher, finally happening.
Can't say I've been too into the story. I thought this was way better, showing Indus Sher's background.
They get no respect.
But I really hope they step up. We've seen what the Creeds can do.
Yeah.
We've seen glimmers from Sanger, and I thought Veer actually sounded pretty good here. So I really hope we actually have a bit of a banger here, and that Indus Sher can.
Banger with Sanger.
Indus Sher were put together 2 years ago, and I do think they seem like more ready now. Yeah, perhaps.
I just, as much as I actually did like this, because again, they are right. They sound correct, saying like, "Yo, we're famous. Why are we like jobbers here? Why are we a joke here?" Like, no. But part of me still misses Yoga Sangha. Yeah. Chill Sangha. He was nice.
Valentina can join them once they.
That would be a
win.
swerve and a half if both of them. Well, no, he turned on her. So.
But Valentina should help them beat the Creed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Swerve. Fuck it.
We go to Oro Mensa versus Javier Bernal. I can't say I really had much to say about this match.
This was Creator Wrestler 1 versus Creator Wrestler 2. One. I was pretty upset that Oro... Is it Oro Mensa? Yeah. Oro Mensa's music was... His theme was cut off because he was attacked during his entrance. Because I thought his theme was... He was slapping. It was pretty good.
Yeah. So, Bernal jumps him during the entrance. They're fighting in the ring. Mensa does do this kind of, think of the tarantula, like the move in the ropes, but more of a bear hug neck crank, which I thought looked pretty good. And hit a nice-looking exploder and finishes Bernal off with this running, spinning wheel kick in the corner for the win.
Cool move.
Yeah, I thought the finish was good.
Like you run full speed at the guy and spin wheel, but you sandwich them against the thing. Yeah, cool. Pretty nothing match, to be honest. Finally got to hear Oro's theme, so that was a plus. But yeah,
Oro hasn't really shown much. He's not bad, but he doesn't stand out to me.
Definitely.
Yeah, he does a lot of things that we've seen other people do. His interviews have never really captured me quite yet.
It's unfortunate that he's trying to be a baby face, but he's like, look how cool I am, and look my lingo, and I'm in the club. It's like, you should just be the bad guy.
Yeah. We'll see. It definitely needs work.
He should have a club, and all the heels hang out at the club.
Yeah, sure.
Like Tony, Waller.
At Oro's club? Yeah, I like that.
Everyone.
Yeah, sure.
Another place.
There's bottle service girls.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Oro Mensa's club, yeah.
Also, that's what that's his logo. It says the club Oro Mensa, and it's like that's your name, and you call your name that.
Could be called the Grayson Waller effect.
Club Oro Mensa or
Club
the Grayson
Oro Mensa.
Doesn't necessarily you Google that and you go, I don't know if I want to go to that place.
Club Oro Mensa, yeah. What does that mean?
Club Oro Mensa.
Big body Harvey. That sounds.
Yeah, you'd go there.
We see Briggs Jensen and Fallon Henley backstage celebrating Fallon's win. They've got the bar.
Nice.
Still no customers, but they've got it. And Kiana James comes in and congratulates Fallon. And they're all like, hey, what are you doing here? We're going to fight.
She says, like, hey, I know that you can still make the right choice and put condos on it.
Yeah, she's like, even though I think condos would look real nice on that land, you beat me fair and square. So good luck, and I'll see you in the battle royal. And sounded quite sincere, which is obviously like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then turns to Brooks and goes, and Brooks, text me later. Ooh.
Oh.
You actually heard a big like reaction from the crowd here. That is she being sincere?
I don't know. She looked different though. She wasn't wearing her glasses, her business attire. She looked more like down to earth, chill.
A bit more girl next door.
Yeah, maybe she's trying to trick him, or maybe she's genuine.
Maybe she just likes Brooks
and wants to support.
I don't know.
I
feel like she's being sneaky.
I don't know.
I think she's being sneaky.
Man, look at
all
these
fake. Like she's doing the Duke thing now. These
fake. Yeah, true. Yeah. I mean, it's a tale as old as time. You know, being swooned and you're being lied to.
But I don't mind this story. I've been from back in Brooks, like, masturbating days to now. I mean, that was the story, basically, wasn't it?
It was.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
That was the story.
That was the story. Yeah.
And now he's got a girlfriend, maybe.
Yeah, kayfabe wise, they're not quite there yet, but they're you know, they're on. He could be potentially on his way.
Yeah.
Yeah, kayfabe wise.
Good for Brooks. Good for Brooks. We then go to our next match. It's Andre Chase versus Drew Gulak. And, well, there's some really nice just kind of mat wrestling to start with, a nice back and forth. They shake hands. There's a suplex from Chase from Gulak. And then he's pointing out to Hank Walker, who's ringside, what he did. He's like, you see that? I suplexed him. It was good.
You know what? It was a good suplex. He actually, nobody hits a vertical suplex with a bridge. That's very different.
Yeah, not usual. There's then a drop kick to the leg from Chase, which is when kind of it's changed a bit from like more classic wrestling to, and this kind of pisses off Gulak, who starts being a little nastier. There's a side Russian leg sweep into the Chase, who stomps from Chase. Then a figure four, but Gulak gets into the ropes, and then Gulak just punches Chase in the face. That rhymed. And then locks in the Gulak, and Andre Chase taps. But just like last week, Gulak doesn't let go. And then he's cheering and showboating. And Hank Walker looks a little confused and a little upset.
Yeah. He's like, come on, man. You won. Why are you doing that? Man, that Gulak, that Dragon Sleeper, that is nice. A finisher, man. That looks so cool when he does that. Yeah, you know what? It's cool that these two got to tangle up here. They definitely have history. Definitely way before WWE days and stuff like that. So to see like the wrestling there is pretty interesting because Andre Chase is, you know, as much as he dresses this way and wears the sweater, he can wrestle. And Gulak kind of wrestling here on NXT doesn't happen all the time. So that was pretty sweet as well. So I'm interested to see where the Gulak thing leads to because I think it's going to lead to some good stuff.
Yeah.
When it eventually all comes into play, which I would say in a few months when maybe we have new characters and different characters, alignments and all that, I think it'll be pretty rad. So I'm into it.
Yeah. I kind of wanted a bit longer from this match because these two can wrestle really nicely with each other. But I'm enjoying Gulak's character at the moment. I think Hank is playing it really well as well.
Yeah.
They're kind of looking a little like he's looking up to this guy, but hey, you're not being too sportsmanlike here.
Yeah.
Wes Lee is backstage talking about Tony D'Angelo versus Dijak and says he can't wait to see them fight each other. I'm going to sit next to Booker and Vic for the match and join commentary to get a front row view. And whoever wins is going to get a title shot against him.
We've seen this one before. Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
We've said it already.
I think so.
Never enough time for shenanigans in three-way.
We go to our next match. Kofi Kingston taking on Joe Gacy. Xavier Woods joining commentary. And Vic asks, because the New Day have always done the Freebird rule, is Big E recognized as NXT Tag Team Champion? And Woods says, of course. So Big E is officially a NXT Tag Team Champion. And this is where Booker says, Big E is finished just like the New Day is going to be finished by the end of their NXT run.
Yeah, I mean, look, clearly this is an angle. This is, set on purpose. But that seemed a bit too...
Saying that the guy who broke his neck is
He's
finished.
done? He's finished? Yeah, because he got a broken neck and we're all like wondering, is this guy ever going to fucking wrestle again? So I get it. You're trying to get the heat, but come on, brother. Like, that made me go, sorry, what did he just say?
Yeah.
So... yeah, I don't think we're alone on that one. Look, it's an entertaining thing because now we want to hear. We can't wait to see the New Day segment to see what Booker says. But that was just not even creative. He's just like Big E's done. He's finished. It's like, oh man.
Every New Day match so far, the Booker T commentary has taken over so much that it feels like the main story.
Right.
And if it isn't to have any sort of match, it's very odd.
Yeah.
We've always had, the heel commentator that hates the babyface and vice versa, but it's pretty overbearing at the moment, where it's taking away. Like, most of my notes of this match are things Booker T is saying, because it sounds like we're building up. It sounds like we're getting Big E versus Booker, and that ain't happening, I don't think. So
I mean, as far as we're recording this on the 3rd of January, Kofi Kingston's the only one to announce he's in the Rumble. So maybe Booker throws himself in there and, like we said, they tangle or a Mania match. I don't know, but really interesting that this was is this a way to bring Booker back to the main roster in an angle with the New Day? Like, is that what this is all leading to? That I'm believing this because you wouldn't just let this guy say this about Big E.
When's college football finish?
I don't know.
Because Pat will be going back to SmackDown.
Exactly. So you'll need Booker.
Wade maybe back to NXT.
Yeah, and Booker's making some jokes on different interviews and stuff about that. So, I mean, I have a feeling that this is the end game of them wiggling their way into Booker wrestling again. So, yeah.
All right.
Do it. Will Sharmell be coming back?
Well, Woods mentioned Queen Sharmell in commentary as well, and Booker's like, you watch him mouth.
Yeah, Xavier should take notes from one of my favorite Kurt Angle feuds in 2005.
We were watching that last night, weren't we?
Yeah. I explained to you I explained to you in full detail the Kurt Angle Booker T Sharmell feud of 2005. If you're not aware, look it up when your kids are not around.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Kofi Kingston and Joe Gacy.
Yeah. Kofi catches Gacy with a spinning heel kick. There's a drop kick from Kofi. Goes for the SOS, but Gacy blocks it. Kofi comes back with a kind of sort of frog splash, but to the back of Gacy. Then hits the boom drop. Gacy blocks Trouble in Paradise and hits a DDT. And this is when Woods gets up from commentary to get in Schism's face. And Kofi comes to the outside with a tope con hilo, taking out Rip and Jagger. Comes back into the ring and hits the Trouble in Paradise for the win.
You know what? I was expecting a bit more from this match, considering Joe Gacy's had a whirlwind of a year in my books. But the wrestling is something is still there. And I felt like maybe it was teasing too much of the other stuff to really
He didn't really get much. He wasn't given a whole lot in the match. It was kind of all Kofi.
Yeah.
And sorry to go back to Booker, but Booker's kind of saying, like, look, why is this match happening?
Yeah,
he's basically saying this is developmental, and he's like, what, this is a former WWE Intercontinental US champion, and he's against what, like number 119 in the PWI Top 500 in Joe Gacy, kind of really pointing out that these are the rookies, and why is this happening?
He's being a dick.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling we're getting Booker's Kofi storyline, because it was distracting by the end of the match, because he was saying, like, why is this match even happening?
Yeah.
Why are they allowed to be champions? Why are they here? Like, go back to wrestling people in your own league, essentially.
Yeah.
Which just buries, like, I get it, but yeah. Anyway, I believe it. If Booker's trying to get a rise out of everyone, it's working. So
Hank Walker's backstage with Gulak, and he's like, yo, Gulak, you didn't let go of the hold. You taught me to let go of the hold. Gulak's just celebrating. He says, a win is a win. This is where Charlie Dempsey appears and says, because Hank was meant to face him this week, but wasn't medically cleared.
I love Charlie Dempsey walking in here, and Drew Gulak calls him, Flower. Which William Regal calls everybody.
Yeah. Charlie Dempsey says that next week is on, and Gulak says that Hank is going to rip Dempsey's arm out of his socket. And
know.
you kind of saw Hank like giving Gulak a few looks, and I get a feeling Gulak is kind of maybe setting Hank up as this sacrificial lamb for Dempsey.
Because, I mean...
Is the feeling I got.
Dempsey clearly has to align himself with Gulak. And
They're both heels here,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm into it.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty Deadly say that they've done everything they want. They've been
Rock.
told to do. They've got the Rock's eyebrow.
They don't explain this,
They're like, yeah, I got it.
but they somehow have the Rock's eyebrow. What was the best way that you think they got the Rock's? We've mentioned.
Well, first they
already.
got Bossman's nightstick.
Seems easier. You just go ask Dijak if he's got a nightstick and borrow it. Maybe they got. I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. Sorry, they said that they didn't get everything, so they couldn't get the eyebrow.
That's right, yes. But they say, hey, how about this time we run the gauntlet against 3 other teams, and if we win, we get to challenge. And the New Day say, well, we do love a gauntlet. Obviously, Kofi Mania was from a gauntlet. You had the tag title stuff in the gauntlet. So, are they turning Pretty Deadly babyface here? They seemed it more this week. Like, they're putting themselves in, look, we're going to face 3 teams starting from the beginning to prove ourselves, to get the match.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think the Vengeance Day match is? Pretty Deadly New Day?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then they win the gauntlet, and then, like, who are the other teams? Idris and Enofe, possibly? They didn't announce it
it's
yet,
not
but-
going to be...
The Schism? Oh, you know what? It could be the Schism. It could be multi-tag matches, because now the Schism have a gripe with the actual... Like, the 2 tag team members of them have a gripe with the New Day.
New Day.
From the feud.
Yeah, so
today.
Schism, Idris Malik,
Yeah.
and...
Make it a 4-way tag match at the pay-per-view. All 4 teams.
Okay.
That could be pretty crazy, but...
Yeah. I think it's going to be 1-1. A
Okay.
Pretty Deadly win.
Nice.
This.
And Pretty Deadly win them back.
Yeah, at Vengeance Day.
Nice.
I think so.
I want the Schism to win the title. No. I just want everyone to get along and have a nice time.
Yeah, everyone should be a champion.
Yeah,
That's why AEW is so good. Everyone's a champion.
Everyone gets to be a champion.
Yeah, everyone's a winner. It's the Grayson Waller effect. Grayson Waller comes out and he says it's going to be the last appearance of Bron Breaker as NXT champion. He's running his mouth when Breaker comes out, and Waller asks him one question: how did it feel to play the role of Goldberg in the sequel of the Iron Vest thing?
Yeah, playing off of the segment where he speared him like Goldberg and stuff.
And he says, it was so obvious. I mean, I was wearing a fur coat. Who wears a fur coat in Florida? And Bron, the whole point is like, yeah, you're right. You got me. You outsmarted me.
You have Waller like, you must have felt so dumb. For real. You must have been so dumb. And Bron's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You got me.
You got one over on me. You win a point.
You are so dumb.
And Waller is like kind of thrown off by this and questions why he's not mad, why he's not all mad and everything. And Bron says, what separates you from everyone is getting under their skin. You outsmart everyone. You're better than everyone. You go viral. Like at War Games, jumping off the top of the cage, viral. Hitting Gargano with a chair, viral. Jumping off the ladder, blinding Apollo Crews. All these moments. But to me, those are all just distractions. And some people might leave New Year's Evil talking about Grayson Waller, but I will leave as champion. And that is the Grayson Waller effect. And as he says that, Waller's like, no, you can't use that against me on my own on show. And Waller says that that's something coming from an overrated champion who has done nothing but steal his dad's gimmick.
Oh.
And Bron looks like he might be a little mad, but still tries to keep his cool and says, you know what, I don't care. I love my father. And Waller starts to say it again, and this time Bron turns around, punches him in the face, hits the military press power slam, and then Waller rolls to the outside. Bron grabs the phone
Which
that
is
is
still,
live streaming.
He's still on Instagram Live.
And hits a tope con hilo, taking out Waller whilst holding the phone as NXT goes off the air.
As he says, now that's a viral moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty funny. that he did that with the phone and lands on his feet still holding the phone.
I need to see the...
Yeah, we were in the
video.
chat for a little while. I always think that's a pretty smart move that you would incorporate social media like that in your segments. It's hard. It sucks though because they're always ahead of a few seconds. So I already knew what was happening. So I'm like, no, I need to turn this off to watch the show. I think Waller is a good character. They did the opposite effect here, where the champion lays the opponent out, which means clearly Grayson Waller's winning next week.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Waller had the best of him the other week. It is kind of wrestling book in that way, but I don't see Waller winning it.
No, man. You know what? I'll give Waller all the credit. Like, he definitely comes across as like an unlikable like bad guy. So I do think that he's gotten over some of his wrestling. Is gotten a lot better. I just still feel like this is a definite B feud to get to like the real meat and potatoes at Vengeance Day sort of thing. But you know what? All the power to him to getting over like the delusional heel of pestering this guy. But
I will say though, I'm not saying I'm hooked by this, but this is a much better build than some of Bron's other. Like, I'm way more into this than the Gacy one. I'm way more into this than the Apollo one, and this is just more of a TV special, and assume we'll move on. I think they've done an all right job in a couple of weeks with this. I kind of like Bron being like, "No, you're not going to get to me here." I thought it was quite fun.
Didn't let the Hulk take over.
I think this match, I do see Bron retaining, but I think the match could be all right, and I think they've done a pretty good job in a couple of weeks for this. And then Melo versus Bron is the real direction.
The money match
going, for sure.
For NXT. Yeah, for sure. Well, next week they've announced then Bron Breaker, Grayson Waller, Tony D, Dijak, Indus, Sher, Creed Brothers, Hank Walker, Charlie Dempsey, the Women's Battle Royal, and then the Tag Gauntlet match.
All right.
Pretty stacked episode of NXT next Tuesday night for New Year's Evil. And we have the tease, these vignettes. They aired another one tonight. The mysterious woman who's going to be dropping the ball.
Yeah, and people in the Knocked Out Films in the YouTube chat is suggesting that maybe they're the one who wins the 20-woman battle royal.
We're assuming it's Tiffany Stratton.
I think so. It's someone else's voice, because obviously it would be very...
Yeah.
Tiffany's voice is pretty recognizable.
Duh.
Tiffany's been gone for a while, and actually that makes a lot of sense. Tiffany to win, Tiffany, Roxanne.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, Tiffany Stratton will once again make NXT happen, hopefully next week. But yeah, that was this week's episode of NXT. You know what? Kind of a mixed bag for me. I thought there was some glimmers of some good wrestling with Melo and Cruz probably being the highlight of that. But I liked seeing a little of the Gulak, because now I'm interested in seeing like the story, particularly with him and Dempsey and Regal's kid and Flower. But still, like, nothing on the show that made me groan or piss me off.
I think NXT's turned into a pretty consistent show.
We're getting back to the way.
It's I wouldn't say this week had any kind of blowaway matches, but I think it's as far as wrestling hokey stories are concerned, it's fairly logical storytelling at the moment, and I do find it quite consistent. Next week, hopefully a bit better wrestling, a few more bangers.
I think we'll get them though with all those matches announced, and then looking forward to Vengeance Day in February.
Yes.
So that was NXT. That was our thoughts on it as well. There wasn't any feedback.
No feedback this week.
Join the Poisonrana page.
Corey, where are you?
Yeah, where's the regulars? Join the Poisonrana Facebook page. There's a group, Poisonrana group. You can join in there. We post funny memes. We don't bite. We share all sorts of wrestling stuff. And then we post feedback threads in there as well for the show. So join that as well. And if you want to follow all the other shows, the Poisonrana feed is free. Search Poisonrana, one word, in your podcast app. Or on our YouTube, subscribe to that as well, because on our YouTube, we go live as well. And we will be on our YouTube channel this Sunday, chatting all about Wrestle Kingdom, which I'm going to have a few coffees if I'm planning on staying up all the way through tonight. But it's Osprey and Kenny, so maybe I'll do it. But yeah, go check us out on our Poisonrana feed. Subscribe, listen to all the other shows that we have coming out there. And yes, you want to hear more, patreon.com/Poisonrana. For only $5, you can become a friend and get access to like 500 podcasts in our catalog there of NXT reviews, retro NXT reviews, pay-per-view reviews, movie reviews, everything coming out this month. And we can't wait for you all to hear our best match ever 2022 part 1 and 2 out later this week on our Patreon.
Absolutely.
All the podcasts, all the wrestling. Those are the easiest shows to do because we're just watching back all the great wrestling.
All the good shit.
From last week. So, hey guys, thank you so much. At Poisonrana at Poisonrana pod on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
Easiest thing to find all this, Poisonrana.ca, and then you'll find all the links to socials, YouTube, everything. The live Patreon.
All right, well, we'll be back next week on this show to talk all about New Year's Evil. I myself, Braden Herrington, I'm at the Bray D.
And I am at Davie Portman.
That's it, that's all. Take care, goodbye, be safe, and good night, Flower.
Oh!